The following program is fully sponsored by Nicklaus Children's Hospital.
Nicklaus Children's Hospital presents A Child's Journey, inspiring stories of children on their continuing journey to wellness. And now your host, Beatrice Canals.
Hello everyone, I'm Beatrice Canals. A child's journey should be filled with love, joy, and of course, good health. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Some children are plagued with health issues that change the course of their lives. Today, we take you on a child's journey down the path of three incredibly brave children who at a very young age learned some of life's toughest lessons about illness, heroism, and never giving up. Their health journey led them to Nicklaus Children's Hospital. Children like Lucky, born with a rare spinal deformity, his back was shaped like a reverse number 7. And Daniela, diagnosed with a rare and aggressive brain tumor at just 2 years old. Her journey is far from over. And then there's little Olivia, whose smile is as special as her heart. Olivia was born with a congenital heart defect. For Olivia, that meant a series of open heart surgeries. Her journey began just days after she took her first breath. It's one of the most exciting experiences for expecting parents.
We're gonna go in, find out the sex of our baby. It's gonna be, exciting.
But for Kike and Diana Alemán, that excitement quickly turned to fear when their second child's journey took an unexpected turn even before she was born, during their 5-month ultrasound checkup.
So we found something. It's not too concerning, but we need to look at it a little bit deeper because it seems that Olivia is coming with a congenital heart defect.
Words Diana and Kike will never forget.
It was something new for me. We're not doctors. We don't really understand how the body works.
A reality that sent them searching for someone to save their baby. That search led them to Nicklaus Children's Hospital.
They said, you are so lucky to be in the city that you're in. Basically, one of the best surgeons in the world that specializes in this we have in our home field. His name is Dr. Redmond Burke. He's like Superman.
When I met Olivia's mom, she was trying to find somebody she could trust to take care of her baby and save her baby's life. That's a profound honor to be trusted by a family like that.
I'll take 10. Yeah, that's awesome.
Renowned heart surgeon Dr. Redmond Burke explains what was wrong with Olivia's heart.
All of us, when we're developing as fetuses, have a heart with 2 ventricles, and a single tube comes out of that heart and goes to the fetus's body. And at some point, that tube has to divide from one large tube into 2 smaller tubes. In Olivia's heart, the one tube turned into 2 tubes, but didn't rotate. So her aorta was connected to the wrong ventricle. It was connected to her right ventricle.
Dr. Burke and his team came up with a plan. After birth, Olivia would undergo an operation to correct her heart.
Do you remember how you felt when you took this picture right before going to the hospital?
Excited, nervous, scared.
The day had arrived. Olivia was on the way.
C-section goes extremely smooth, and Olivia comes out fat, pink, and plumpy. Perfect. Is this the same baby that we've been scanning for 4 months? Because she had no signs of what they would expect babies with TGA to have.
But as perfect as baby Olivia seemed, the diagnosis, transposition of the great artery, was confirmed and surgery was needed.
It sounds awful, but I almost didn't let myself get too connected. So I held it for 20 minutes, and then they put her in an incubator, and she left to Nicklaus Children's Hospital.
Thankfully, Dr. Burke determined Olivia's surgery could hold off until Diana could be with her. 3 days later, baby Olivia was taken into surgery. But several hours later, a change of plans.
I remember opening her chest and looking at her heart between my fingers, thinking plan A is not going to work. She might not leave this operating room. We shifted to plan B.
A plan that would require 2 more surgeries down the road.
He's like, listen, I'm not going to gamble with your baby's life. And I'll never forget those words.
Olivia came off the bypass machine, and it was a nice moment when a heart starts beating again and you're not sure if it's going to. And she was a champ. Her heart started beating and it was strong.
And so I'm seeing her here for the first time. She's completely intubated on the paralytic.
Olivia's fight was far from over. Still hooked up to tubes and machines, a week post-surgery, and the newborn wouldn't eat.
Deanna, as a mom, I can't even imagine what it must have been like.
Again, we were very blessed to be where we were. Nicklaus honestly has every resource possible. She had an issue with the stomach, within an hour, the gastroenterologist was there. She wasn't feeding or thriving, again, the therapist was there. The attention was overwhelming. So this picture is actually when she was getting ready to leave the hospital. The entire staff of Nicklaus gave her like a little graduation ceremony.
Finally, after 3 months, Olivia goes home.
This is when we came home from the hospital, and Bianca was obviously eager to meet her sister for the first time.
Then, at 9 months old, Olivia's heart was ready for the second surgery.
Plan B was we rebuilt her entire aorta. We used actual parts from other people's hearts who had donated their hearts. We made sure that there was a good supply of blood to her lungs, and then we rebuilt her whole aorta so that blood could get out to her body.
He comes out, extremely successful, and that's when I felt that Olivia was like born, when we got our baby.
And a seemingly healthy baby after 2 surgeries here at Nicklaus Children's Hospital. But with Olivia's little heart still growing, she would need a 3rd operation for the repair to be complete. That surgery took place here at the new Advanced Pediatric Care Pavilion, where Dr. Burke and his team turned to innovative technology for the final procedure.
They did like a scan of her heart to get that 3D print, and then they were able to make this heart.
What were your thoughts when you actually saw this 3D model of Olivia's heart for the first time?
Oh, it's like amazing, like you have your daughter's heart on your hand.
It's not just a bunch of shadows on an x-ray now. We're holding replicas of complex hearts in our hands, and that helps us come up with novel ways to repair them. And Olivia's operation was smooth and precise and fast. That operation really changed the course of her life.
I thought you guys would like to see some pictures from
Way back when.
A life Mom and Dad thanked Dr. Burke and his team at Nicklaus Children's Hospital for saving.
Oh, thank you.
1 year after Olivia's final surgery, they're back to reunite with their Superman, reconnect with nurses who became like family, and revisit the places Olivia enjoyed while recovering from surgery that changed her life. A life now filled with fun and laughter and lots of love from her big sister Bianca.
And now she runs, she gets in the scooter, she does all the activities that, like a 5-year-old kid does.
There's something very special right here. What is this?
A scar.
A scar? That scar shows you're a very brave girl, right?
She's very well aware that she went through something that has made her as brave as she is. I'm sure that as she gets older, we'll explain in detail exactly what it was that she had to endure to be who she is. She rocks her scar like it's a sticker.
People assume that if you've had multiple heart operations, you're gonna sit in a wheelchair and not live a full life. These kids are tough and they're fearless. They've been through things that other people can't imagine. So they have this resourcefulness and fearlessness that makes you proud.
And it's that sense of pride Dr. Burke says motivates him every time he goes into surgery. So far, the cardiac team at Nicklaus Children's Hospital has operated on more than 10,000 babies. Their journey depends not only on the specialists and advanced technology available at Nicklaus Children's Hospital, but also your help. Your contributions to the Nicklaus Children's Hospital Foundation can change children's lives. Children like Lucky. Up next, meet a boy whose journey will truly amaze you.
He lived humped over, bent forward with a huge knot on his back for years.
Find out how a visit to Nicklaus Children's Hospital changed his life forever.
Your donations can make a difference. For more information about how you can help, visit give.nicklauschildrens.org.
Could you please help other kids like me?
This is where my journey began.
This is my journey. No two journeys are the same.
I'm still on mine.
For over 40 years, Nicklaus Children's Hospital Foundation has been there fighting along with children on their journeys to wellness. Children like me, Isabella,
Franklin, Gabriella,
Andres,
Rodney.
But we need your help.
We can't do it alone.
Your donations go a long way to helping us fight on our journey to get better.
Please join us and give today.
You're watching A Child's Journey with Beatrice Canals.
I love Nicklaus Children's Hospital. Nicklaus Children is the best.
Your donation to Nicklaus Children's really helps.
Welcome back. How often do you find yourself telling your child to sit up straight? Seems like a simple enough task, but for one very special child, it's a daily struggle. Born with a severe spinal deformity, this young boy has endured unimaginable pain. Yet his parents say he's never once complained. His story is certain to make you feel extremely lucky. And we warn you, some of the images might be tough to watch. In this idyllic piece of paradise near Central Florida, under bright blue sky, where Mother Nature and man coexist, lives a special young boy with a fortunate view of life. Your name's Zachary, right? But they call you Lucky.
Yeah.
What do you think about your nickname?
I think it's kind of special.
As do Lucky's parents, Janie and Greg DeTrey. In her 40s, Janie got the good news that she was pregnant. She gave birth to Lucky 5 weeks early. Almost immediately, there was concern. Lucky's head was unusually larger than his body.
He was like this, and it was hard for him to hold his head up.
Al tried to tell us this was, you know, some abnormality, but they finally said, we don't find anything wrong with him. Let's go home. And we were so excited.
But something was wrong. Lucky had a hard time rolling over, walking, and sitting up. When he was just 2, while undergoing physical therapy, Lucky's therapist pointed out something unusual.
His therapist said, hey, you know, this lump on his back isn't from his trying to hold his head up. You need to get it checked out.
Lucky's pediatrician said, you need to be at Nicklaus Children's Hospital. Dr. Schuffelbarger is the spinal person that you need to be seeing.
As director of Nicklaus Children's Hospital's Division of Pediatric Spinal Surgery now, and at the hospital for more than 40 years, Dr. Harry Schuffelbarger is a leading expert in the field of pediatric spinal deformities. During their very first visit, Dr. Schuffelbarger finally gave Janie and Greg the answers they were looking for.
I've known Lucky probably 10 years. Met him when he was a little over 2. He was born with really a very significant spinal deformity. There was manufacturing defects in the vertebra.
His T7 was defective.
Dr. Schuffelbarger and his team performed 2 surgeries on Lucky, adding 15 screws and rods to his body to straighten up his spine. He was 2. You had to hand over your 2-year-old. What was that like?
As soon as we established that relationship with Dr. Schuffelbarger and his entire team and the nurses in 2E, we knew we were right where we needed to be.
The surgeries were a success. The next step, waiting for Lucky to grow into his body. During those years, medical technology advanced by leaps and bounds.
So this is a 3D model that Dr. Schuffelbarger had 3D printed.
And I think sometimes when I see this, when I look at this, I'm reminded, oh my goodness, he lived like that and he never complained.
In fact, Lucky went to school and on with his life until Dr. Schuffelbarger decided the wait was over. In June of 2017, when Lucky was 10, he had his 3 final surgeries.
He was admitted here and placed in a halo, which is a device that screws into the skull, both above the eyes and above the ears. And he spent probably 10 weeks in the hospital in traction, with the weight being up to 50% of his body weight.
It's just unreal at how the child, you know, 8 weeks in halo traction with screws in your head and 25 pounds of weight, and never one time did the child complain.
That's what gets me. It wasn't hard for us.
It was hard for Lucky.
It was hard for Lucky.
Lucky's sacrifice paid off. He got a dramatic new look. And after nearly 3 months in the hospital, Lucky got to go home to a brand new life. For Lucky and his family, what once may have seemed impossible is now a dream come true. Lucky loves the great outdoors and water sports. He gets to share that passion with his dad now, who happens to be an avid water skier.
I like to swim, tube, 4-wheeler and go-kart.
It's a beautiful thing to see him get up in the morning and go just jump in and take a swim.
One of our goals is to restore children with spinal deformities to a normal lifestyle and quality of life, and I think that's been realized in Lucky's instance.
Lucky's case is just one of thousands performed at Nicklaus Children's Hospital over the years that's resulted in innovative changes to science.
That's permitted a lot of innovation in treatment protocols that we've established here at Nicklaus and have become really adopted around the world.
We've been very fortunate to have Dr. Schuffelbarger along the whole journey with us.
For the kids out there who maybe will go through something similar to what you've gone through, what advice would you have for them?
I would say stay strong and keep going.
Why share your story?
So other children have hope, and other parents know that there is a place that they can be confident that their child will be taken, just given the very best of care.
What's your favorite subject?
I like history.
And what a beautiful miracle and medical miracle as well that they can correct that and get him a spine beautifully straight now. It's unreal, it's amazing.
Also amazing how Lucky managed to stay positive through it all. 5 surgeries so far. So what's next for Lucky? He's undergone physical therapy and plans to keep riding that ATV as long as his homework is done first, right, Mom? When we come back.
Daniela went into a coma. Her brain was shutting down.
A mother's anguish, a child's heroic fight against cancer. Meet Daniela and the team that saved her. But first, a chance for you to join their journey.
Your donations go a long way to helping us fight on our journey to get better. Please join us and give today.
To donate, please log on to give.nicklauschildrens.org.
This is where my journey began.
This is my journey. No two journeys are the same.
I'm still on mine.
For over 40 years, Nicklaus Children's Hospital Foundation has been there fighting along with children on their journeys to wellness. Children like me, Isabella,
Franklin, Gabriella,
Andres,
Rodney.
But we need your help.
We can't do it alone.
Your donations go a long way to helping us fight on our journey to get better.
Please join us and give today.
At Nicklaus Children's Hospital, there's a real focus on family and the important role it plays in a child's health journey. For that reason, family-centered care is at the core. Family members play an active role in the discussions and decisions made concerning a child's treatment. Welcome back. It's that family-centered care at Nicklaus Children's Hospital that made all the difference for this child and her family. Imagine your baby reaches all of her milestones. She seems perfect in every way. Then suddenly, a major setback. One moment you're celebrating her birthday, then just hours later she's undergoing brain surgery and facing a devastating diagnosis. For Daniela Alvarez and her family, that journey was all too real.
Turn it into an animal. Give it a face.
Daniela Alvarez always seems to be smiling, whether she's spending time with her 3 sisters and her parents, taking pictures, or simply winning a thumb war.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
This 11-year-old spirit is truly inspiring, considering how much she's been through in her young life. A seemingly healthy child, Daniela had reached the milestones of a typical toddler, seen here at a swimming lesson just 2 days before getting a devastating diagnosis.
We noticed that she stopped walking. I took her to her pediatrician to send me to see the neurologist. The neurologist had called the emergency room, and when we arrived, they were already waiting for Daniela.
What did they tell you?
She had a tumor at the base of her brain, the size and the shape of a pear.
The doctor told us that she needed the surgery immediately.
The diagnosis ATRT, or atypical teratoid rhabdoid tumor, a rare, malignant, and extremely aggressive type of brain cancer. Survival rates are just 10%. But Daniela is a fighter, and Nicklaus Children's Hospital's team of medical professionals, including Dr. John Rageb, are experts in the field.
Daniela Alvarez has a very unusual condition that made her susceptible to having a brain tumor that occurred early in life. She was fortunate that it was diagnosed at a point where it could be treated.
While Daniela survived the 6-hour surgery, her long journey was just beginning.
Because of the type of tumor and its propensity to recur, Daniela needed intensive therapy after her initial surgery. That was done in collaboration with our neuro-oncology team.
Daniela underwent more than 50 aggressive chemotherapy treatments at Nicklaus Children's Hospital and 3 months of radiation. Through it all, she managed to keep that beautiful smile. Daniela won her first battle with cancer, but at age 4, it was back.
I remember I had a little ball in my head.
Where do you remember where you felt it? Can you show me with your hand?
Like.
Around there?
Yeah.
She needed additional surgery at that point and further treatment. Did very well for many years with no evidence of recurrent tumor until just recently when she started to have seizures. Using the resources here that we have at Nicklaus Children's Hospital's Brain Institute, she was seen and evaluated by our epilepsy team. They were able to localize the source of the seizures to one particular part of the brain.
Dr. Rageb explains the seizures were a side effect of treatment, so they implanted electrodes inside her brain to alert them to future attacks before they happen. You're pretty much being seen by an entire team at Nicklaus Children's.
Some families have to travel hours to go to a main hospital because at their city or their town they don't have what we have here, or they don't have the specialists available in the same place altogether.
And it's that team approach Daniela's parents credit for her survival, a multidisciplinary approach that allows Daniela to be seen by many specialists, all here at Nicklaus Children's Hospital.
It's a good feeling for us to be part of that team and to be able to take away that fear and anxiety that parents have about having a sick child.
Would you recommend other parents to turn to Nicklaus Children's Hospital with their child?
Absolutely, yes.
Why?
I have no words to describe how great they are. You know, how they put in a parent's shoes and they understand, not only as a doctor, but also as parents. For us, the hospital is a happy place. That might sound odd for many people.
In fact, for Daniela and her family, Nicklaus Children's Hospital is like a second home. After 9 years and almost 10 surgeries, Daniela and her sisters have practically grown up here, and their family has grown to include volunteers who keep her smiling during the toughest times, and nurses and doctors who've been there for them through it all. What do you like about the doctors?
They're good.
Are they friendly? They took good care of you?
Yes.
Daniela has beaten everyone's prognosis, and she continues to thrive. Daniela's success and her happiness that she brings to her parents makes her prognosis unlimited.
Things happen very fast. She has gave us a lot of strength.
You're always smiling. Smile. You don't ever get sad?
No.
I hope that we get to see pictures of Daniela's graduation from high school and college and into the future.
Gonzalo, what would you say to other parents that are facing a similar diagnosis to Daniela's?
That there is always hope, that you have to gather your strength, and there is always hope.
And Daniela has some big plans for her future. She says she wants to be either a firefighter, an astronaut, or a doctor like the ones taking such good care of her. She's scheduled to have another surgery soon. Daniela, just like every time you challenge me to a thumb war, I know you'll win this battle too. And you're not fighting alone. Coming up, meet a couple whose life mission is to help children like Daniela at Nicklaus Children's Hospital. And here's how you can help.
Your donation can make all the difference in a child's journey. To give now, please visit give.nicklauschildrens.org.
Please join us and give today.
This is where my journey began.
This is my journey. No two journeys are the same.
I'm still on mine.
For over 40 years, Nicklaus Children's Hospital Foundation has been there fighting along with children on their journeys to wellness.
Children like me, Isabella, Franklin, Gabriella,
Andres,
Rodney.
But we need your help.
We can't do it alone.
Your donations go a long way to helping us fight on our journey to get better.
Please join us and give today.
Welcome back to A Child's Journey with Beatrice Canals.
You've heard the story of 3 amazing children whose journeys all led them to Nicklaus Children's Hospital, located right here in our community, where they received the best care and benefited from the latest technological advances. Well, it wouldn't be possible without your contributions and those of a very dedicated couple who have made it their life's mission to help children stay healthy.
Hello, I'm Jack Nicklaus.
And I'm Barbara Nicklaus. Caring for children has been our passion for over 50 years. This has been such a rewarding journey with one simple and important destination, and that is to make a difference in the lives of children and families here and around the world.
With your help, we can help drive discovery and advance medical knowledge through science and research with our collective efforts to elevate care for children in need here and everywhere.
Your support of the Nicklaus Children's Hospital Foundation is critical. With your help, we can bring hope and healing along every child's journey.
Please give today.
And there are so many reasons to give. Olivia, Lucky, Daniela, and so many children counting on Nicklaus Children's Hospital to keep providing them with the best health care possible. With technology constantly changing, Nicklaus Children's Hospital is determined to continue offering innovative options to battle life-threatening conditions and keep our children healthy and thriving. But they need your help. Please join their journey and give today, because our children are worth fighting for. I'm Beatrice Canals. Thank you so much for watching A Child's Journey.
It's a place where if you're sick, then it can make you better. It's buildings, friends, and a helicopter. Oh, and robots, lots of robots.
Miami Children's Health System is now Nicklaus Children's Health System.
Oh, that's what it is.
The preceding program was fully sponsored by Nicklaus Children's Hospital.